Good evening. I'm YAMO. Tonight's report examines one of the most sophisticated and strategically modern resistance movements in early anti-colonial history, the military, economic, and diplomatic campaign of Tipu Sultan against the British East India Company. His struggle was not merely a regional conflict. It was one of the earliest coordinated attempts to dismantle colonial expansion by targeting its technology, finances, and global alliances simultaneously. By the late 18th century, the British East India Company was undergoing a dangerous transformation. It was no longer simply a trading corporation. It was becoming a territorial empire, armed, financed, and structured to control entire civilizations. Many Indian rulers still perceived the company as merchants protected by soldiers. Tipu Sultan saw something far more alarming. He recognized the British as a corporate empire powered by logistics, capital extraction, and technological warfare. His response was not defensive. It was systemic. One of Tipu Sultan's most revolutionary contributions was military innovation. Under his command, the Kingdom of Mysore developed iron-cased rockets, far more stable, accurate, and destructive than traditional gunpowder rockets used across Asia. These rockets could travel nearly 2 kilometers, often fitted with sharpened blades designed to intensify destruction and induce psychological shock across enemy formations. Their devastating effectiveness became undeniable during the Battle of Pollilur in 1780. Mysorean forces launched coordinated rocket barrages that shattered British military formations and created mass panic among East India Company troops. The defeat was one of the most humiliating setbacks the British had experienced in India. More importantly, it forced British military engineers to reverse engineer Mysorean rocket technology, eventually leading to the development of Congreve rockets, later deployed across European battlefields, and even against Napoleon himself. But Tipu Sultan understood a deeper truth. Colonial power did not survive on military victory alone. It survived through trade monopolies, revenue extraction, and economic dependency. To counter this, Tipu launched a form of warfare rarely seen among regional rulers of his era: economic disruption. He imposed strict embargoes preventing local merchants from trading with British agents. He replaced private trade networks with state-controlled commercial institutions designed to centralize economic strength within Mysore. This strategy directly targeted the company's financial bloodstream. At the same time, Tipu invested heavily in naval expansion along the Malabar coast, recognizing that maritime dominance was essential to cutting British supply chains and preventing reinforcements from reaching colonial strongholds. Perhaps most extraordinary was Tipu Sultan's geopolitical foresight. While many regional powers remained trapped in local rivalries, Tipu recognized the emerging reality of globalized imperial warfare. He understood that the British Empire could only be challenged through coordinated international alliances. His diplomatic engagement with revolutionary France stands as one of the boldest strategic moves in 18th century Asian politics. Tipu corresponded directly with Napoleon Bonaparte, who at one stage seriously considered leading an expedition through Egypt toward India to dismantle British dominance. Although this plan never materialized, it revealed Tipu's extraordinary understanding of transcontinental power strategy. Simultaneously, Tipu dispatched embassies to the Ottoman Empire and Afghanistan, seeking to construct a broader military and political coalition capable of resisting colonial expansion. While these alliances never fully matured into coordinated campaigns, they demonstrated a geopolitical awareness that placed Tipu far ahead of many contemporary rulers in the subcontinent. By the late 1790s, British policymakers reached a decisive conclusion. Sustainable colonial expansion in India would remain impossible as long as Mysore survived under Tipu Sultan's leadership. In 1799, the British launched an overwhelming siege against his capital, Seringapatam, supported by regional allies and superior logistical coordination. As British forces breached the city's defenses, Tipu Sultan refused evacuation or surrender. Historical accounts describe him choosing to fight until the final collapse of the fortifications. His reported declaration that one day lived as a lion is better than a lifetime lived as a jackal became a lasting symbol of resistance against imperial domination. Tipu Sultan died in combat, defending his capital with his sword in hand. British General George Harris, upon identifying his body, reportedly understood the magnitude of that moment. With Tipu's fall, one of the most technologically advanced and strategically organized centers of resistance against British expansion disappeared. Tipu Sultan's campaign demonstrates that anti-colonial resistance was never merely emotional or symbolic. It was technological, it was economic, it was diplomatic, and above all, it was strategic. His legacy reveals that early resistance movements recognized the corporate, global, and industrial nature of colonial power long before these realities became widely acknowledged. History often celebrates empires through their victories. But history is equally shaped by those who forced empires to adapt, innovate, and confront the possibility of defeat. And sometimes, the greatest measure of resistance is not victory, but the fear it creates within an empire. For History Watch, I'm YAMO. Good night.